Commander Zeth-Kar had seen war across 17 different star systems. The Velari Empire had conquered worlds through calculated strategy, overwhelming firepower, and the cold precision that came from millennia of military doctrine. War was mathematics to them, resources, logistics, acceptable losses. It was familiar, predictable, almost mundane in its brutality. Until the day they encountered Earth, the human colony of New Geneva should have fallen within hours. Intelligence reports indicated a population of barely 2 million, minimal defensive infrastructure, and outdated weaponry that posed no significant threat to the Empire's war machine. Zeth-Kar himself had overseen the preliminary bombardment, from orbit, watching dispassionately as their plasma cannons carved precise wounds into the planet's surface. Standard occupation protocol, he had commanded his subordinates. Minimal resistance expected. How wrong he had been. The first sign. Something was different came when the dropships landed. The humans didn't surrender or flee in panic as expected. Instead, they simply vanished. The carefully mapped settlements stood empty, but sensors detected movement in the surrounding terrain, movement that defied tactical logic. Lieutenant Krixtal, Zeth-Kar's aide, monitored the advancing ground. Forces from the command ship. "Sir, our units are reporting unusual difficulties. The humans appear to be employing guerrilla tactics, but with unprecedented coordination." Zeth-Kar studied the tactical display with growing unease. Red dots representing his forces were disappearing one by one, not in the clustered patterns of conventional battles, but scattered and seemingly random. Elaborate. They're using improvised explosives constructed from agricultural equipment, mining charges repurposed as ambush weapons. Even their civilians are participating. Children no older than our cadets are serving as spotters and messengers. This wasn't warfare, as Zeth-Kar understood it. The Velari way was honorable combat between trained soldiers with clear objectives and defined rules of engagement. But humans seemed to view war as something else entirely. Not a profession, but a primal response to existential threat. The breaking point came 3 days into the occupation attempt. Squad leader Vexnil had captured a human family trying to evacuate through the northern valleys. Standard procedure demanded interrogation for intelligence gathering, followed by relocation to designated civilian zones. But when Vexnil's squad attempted to separate the parents from their offspring, a routine security measure, something unprecedented happened. The human male, previously compliant and seemingly broken, underwent a transformation that defied biological understanding. His eyes didn't just show anger, they seemed to ignite with something beyond rage, beyond hatred, beyond any emotion Zeth-Kar's species possessed terminology for. The security footage that reached Zeth-Kar's command deck showed the human moving with impossible speed and violence. Despite being significantly smaller than his Velari captors, despite having no weapons beyond his bare hands, he tore through 4 armed soldiers with brutal efficiency. Not tactical efficiency. There was nothing calculated about his actions. This was pure, unleashed fury given physical form. But it wasn't just one human. The distress call that triggered this response seemed to awaken something in every human within a 5-kilometer radius. They emerged from hiding places that shouldn't have existed, moving with coordination that suggested either telepathic communication or some form of collective consciousness activated by threat. Zeth-Kar watched in horrified fascination as his disciplined, well-equipped forces were systematically dismantled by creatures who seemed to have abandoned all concern for their own survival. Humans threw themselves at armored vehicles with nothing but mining tools. They constructed traps that sacrificed entire buildings just to eliminate single squads. Most disturbing of all, they fought with tears streaming down their faces, not from fear, but from some emotional state that made them simultaneously more and less than the rational beings intelligence reports had suggested. "Commander," Krixtal's voice carried a tremor Zeth-Kar had never heard before. We're receiving surrender requests from 6 different unit commanders. They're requesting immediate extraction." The tactical display told the story in brutal clarity. What should have been a simple mop-up operation had become a nightmare of attrition warfare, where every human civilian had somehow transformed into a combatant more dangerous than trained soldiers. But the moment that truly shattered Zethkar's understanding came when he intercepted a human communication broadcast. A young female, probably no older than a Velari adolescent, speaking into a crude recording device while explosions echoed in the background. "This is Sarah Chen, New Geneva Resistance." Her voice was steady despite the chaos around her. "To any humans receiving this transmission, they took Tommy Martinez yesterday. He was 7 years old. We don't know what they did to him, but his parents found his body this morning." The girl's voice never wavered, but what followed made Zethkar's blood freeze in his veins. "We're not soldiers, we're farmers, teachers, mechanics, but they hurt our children. And that changes everything. If you're listening to this, remember, they think we're weak because we feel. They're wrong. We don't fight despite our emotions. We fight because of them." Zethkar realized with growing horror that the Empire had made a fundamental miscalculation. They had interpreted human emotional capacity as weakness, never considering it might be the source of their greatest strength. The Velari fought for territory, resources, strategic advantage. Humans, he was discovering, fought for something infinitely more dangerous. They fought for love. The withdrawal came 18 hours later. Not a tactical retreat or strategic repositioning, but a full evacuation that abandoned equipment and supplies in the desperate rush to escape the planet's surface. Zethkar stood in his command chamber, staring at New Geneva through the viewport as his fleet moved to minimum safe distance. The planet looked deceptively peaceful from orbit, its cities smoking but intact, its people invisible but undoubtedly watching. He had witnessed something that would haunt him for the remainder of his military career, the moment when an entire species revealed that their capacity for love was matched only by their capacity for unleashing absolute fury upon anyone who threatened what they cherished. War had been familiar once, cold, calculated, predictable, but human fury? That was something entirely different. Something that made even veteran commanders question whether some battles should never be fought at all.